Let's be honest for a second. Most men don't lose power in a relationship because women take it from them. They lose it because they give it away, quietly, slowly, and often without even realizing it. It starts with small things. Trying too hard to please her, over-explaining, walking on eggshells just to keep the peace. You think you're being loving, understanding, or supportive, but to a woman, it starts to feel like you've stopped leading. Here's the thing most men don't understand. Women are naturally drawn to strength. Not arrogance, not dominance, but emotional steadiness. The moment a man starts chasing her validation instead of standing in his own confidence, something shifts. She doesn't always notice it right away, but the energy changes. The tension, the spark, the respect, it starts to fade. And here's where it gets tricky. Women will test you, sometimes unconsciously, just to see if you'll hold your ground. Not because we want to control you, but because we want to feel safe with you, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. When a man starts bending too much, agreeing just to avoid conflict, or losing focus on his purpose to keep a woman happy, she might say she loves it. But deep down, she starts to lose attraction. It's not about playing games, it's about energy. When a man's energy starts revolving around her instead of his own center, that's when the balance shifts. And once the balance shifts, she begins to feel what every woman dreads, that she's no longer inspired by him. So if you've ever felt like something changed in your relationship, like she's colder, distant, or uninterested, this might be why. It's not that she stopped caring. It's that she stopped feeling your power. And once that happens, everything else starts to unravel. Let's talk about how that really happens, and how you can stop losing your power without even realizing it. 1. When you make her the mission, instead of the motivation. Here's something most men don't realize. When a woman first falls for you, she's not falling for a man who made her his whole world. She's falling for a man who already had one. She's drawn to the version of you that's focused, passionate, and grounded in something bigger than her. Your goals, your mission, your drive. That's what creates the energy that pulls her in. But the moment you start making her the mission, that magnetic pull starts to fade. At first, she'll love the attention. She'll enjoy being your priority because it makes her feel wanted, special, and secure. But over time, she'll start to feel something shift. Not in you, but in how she feels around you. The man who once made her chase for a place in his world now seems like he's orbiting around hers. The energy that once made her feel lucky to have you suddenly makes her feel like you're too available, too focused on her mood, too invested in what she thinks. Here's what most men miss. Women don't want to be your purpose. They want to inspire it. We want to feel like we're part of a man's world that's already moving forward, not the reason it moves at all. The moment your world starts spinning around us, it's like the masculine polarity collapses. You stop being the grounded man she looks up to, and start being the man who's waiting for her emotional approval to feel whole, and that's when her respect begins to slip, quietly, subtly. She won't say it outright, but she'll start to test you more. She'll pull back, go cold, or challenge you, not because she's trying to hurt you, but because she's trying to feel that strength again. She wants to know if you can hold your ground when she's unpredictable, emotional, or distant. If you fold under that pressure, she subconsciously feels like she can't trust your strength. And that's the beginning of disconnection. Men lose power the moment they replace purpose with pursuit. When you stop chasing your own goals and start chasing her reactions, you unknowingly reverse the dynamic that made her attracted to you in the first place. The truth is, no woman wants to be with a man who abandons himself just to keep her close. It doesn't feel romantic. It feels heavy. 2. The moment you start explaining yourself. Too much. Here's something women rarely admit. When a man starts over-explaining himself, we instantly feel the shift. You might think you're being clear, thoughtful, or reassuring. But to a woman, it often comes across as insecure energy. You stop sounding like a grounded man who knows who he is and start sounding like someone who's trying to convince her of his worth. It usually starts small. Maybe she asks why you didn't text back right away. You respond with a paragraph instead of a sentence. You start explaining that you were busy, that your phone died, that you weren't ignoring her, and in your mind, you're being honest. But what she feels underneath that is neediness. She senses that you care too much about how she perceives you. And once she feels that, something shifts in how she sees you. Because here's the truth. A woman doesn't want a man who's always explaining himself. She wants a man whose actions are clear enough that he doesn't need to. A man who can stand on what he says, and if she misunderstands him, he doesn't rush to fix her perception. He lets her feel whatever she feels. That's masculine confidence, calm, quiet, and unbothered. You might think being transparent builds trust, but trust doesn't come from words. It comes from consistency. It's your energy, not your explanation, that tells her whether you're grounded or anxious. The more you talk to prove your intentions, the less she feels your strength. She starts to see you as emotionally dependent, someone who needs her reassurance to feel okay, and once that happens, her attraction naturally drops. Not because she's cruel, but because a woman can't feel desire for a man she feels emotionally stronger than. She might still care about you, but she'll start to pull back. Her messages get shorter, her energy gets colder, and suddenly you're wondering what changed. What changed is that you started convincing instead of leading. 3. When you start seeking her validation instead of respect. One of the fastest ways men lose power in a relationship is when they start craving validation instead of respect. It's a quiet shift. You don't even realize it's happening. At first, you just want her to appreciate you, to notice your effort, to say she loves what you do. But slowly, that desire turns into dependency. Her approval starts to feel like oxygen, and without it, you feel unsure, uncomfortable, even anxious. Here's what you have to understand about women. We're emotional readers. We can sense when your actions come from confidence and when they come from a need to be validated. When you start doing things just to get a reaction from us, it stops feeling masculine and starts feeling manipulative, even if that's not your intention. It's like we can feel that you're no longer being authentic. You're performing for our praise. And once that happens, the dynamic flips. The more you seek validation, the less she respects you. It's not because she doesn't appreciate your effort. It's because women are drawn to men who already validate themselves. A man who doesn't need her approval to feel good about who he is. That's what creates emotional safety and attraction. You lose power when you start adjusting your behavior just to keep her happy. You stop being the man she fell for and start becoming the man she can control emotionally, even if she doesn't want to. When you start thinking, if she's distant, I'll do more to win her back, or if she's upset, I'll apologize just to calm her down. You're operating from fear, not strength. And women can feel that fear immediately. Here's the truth that might sting a little. Women don't fall in love with the man who gives them everything they want. They fall in love with the man they respect. The man who stands on his boundaries, even when it risks losing her. The man who can say no, stay calm, and stay centered when she's emotional. That's what makes her feel your strength. 4. When you let her emotions dictate your behavior. Let's be honest. Women are emotional creatures. We feel deeply, react suddenly, and sometimes say things we don't even mean in the heat of the moment. But here's the thing. Most men don't understand. A woman doesn't lose respect for you because you don't fix her emotions. She loses respect when her emotions control yours. When a woman gets emotional, angry, distant, moody, or cold, what she's really looking for is your stability. She wants to feel your strength without you having to force it. But when you start matching her emotions, arguing back, trying to calm her down desperately, or tiptoeing around to avoid conflict, you hand her your power. She starts to feel like you're reacting to her instead of leading yourself. And that's when she subconsciously pulls away. You might think you're doing the right thing when you say, "Okay, I'll do whatever makes you happy," or "Please don't be upset." But those words tell her that her emotions run the show. And no woman, no matter how loving she is, wants to feel like she's leading emotionally. It makes her feel unsafe, even if she doesn't know why. Masculine energy is about calm direction. Feminine energy is about movement and feeling. The two balance each other out, but only when the man stays grounded. If you let her emotional waves toss you around, she loses the ability to trust your steadiness. And once that trust fades, so does her attraction. The truth is, a woman doesn't want you to be perfect. She just wants to know you won't fall apart when she does. She wants to see that you can hold your own emotions even when she can't. That's what makes her feel safe to be soft, vulnerable, and feminine around you. But when you get reactive, defensive, or apologetic every time she's upset, she stops seeing you as her rock and starts seeing you as another emotional storm she has to manage. Here's what a strong man does differently. He listens without trying to fix, observes without reacting, and speaks from calm instead of chaos. He knows that a woman's emotions are temporary, but how he responds to them defines the long-term dynamic. 5. When you stop being a challenge. Here's a truth most men don't want to hear. Women crave challenge. Not drama, not confusion, but challenge. That's what keeps attraction alive. It's not about playing games or withholding affection. It's about being a man she can't easily figure out, a man whose world she wants to keep earning a place in. The moment you stop being that, the dynamic shifts. She gets comfortable, and then slowly, she gets bored. In the beginning, every woman is drawn to the mystery of a man. It's that quiet confidence, the way he doesn't reveal everything at once, how he has boundaries, how he moves with purpose. It's not that he's cold or unavailable, it's that he values himself enough to not hand over everything right away. That tension, that bit of distance, that's what makes a woman lean in. She feels like she has to earn him. But when a man starts over-giving, over-explaining, and over-accommodating, he loses that edge. He becomes predictable. There's no curiosity left, no emotional excitement. He's available all the time. He says yes to everything. He cancels plans just to be with her. And at first, she might like it. But soon, she starts to feel it. The chase is gone. I've seen it happen so many times. A woman starts dating a guy who used to have a life. Friends, purpose, structure. Then she notices he starts drifting. His texts become constant, his attention unending. Suddenly, the man who once made her feel butterflies now feels safe, but uninspiring. Not because he's done anything wrong, but because he's lost his self. The truth is, women fall for the man who challenges them emotionally, not the one who makes everything easy. When you stand your ground, when you say no sometimes, when you keep your focus on your own path, that's when she starts to feel drawn back to you, because she's reminded that your attention is earned, not owed. And here's the thing. A woman doesn't want to control you, even if sometimes she acts like she does. Deep down, she wants to feel your strength. She wants to know that no matter how much she tests you, your world doesn't revolve around her moods. That's what keeps her interested. The sense that you have your own gravity. Men lose power when they confuse love with compliance. You can love a woman deeply and still keep your boundaries. you can care for her without sacrificing your edge. Because once she feels like she's got you completely, that there's no mystery, no tension, no challenge, she'll stop reaching for you emotionally. And that's when attraction fades, quietly, without warning. 6. When you stop leading and start following. Her lead. Every woman can feel when a man stops leading. It's not something she consciously notices at first. It's a subtle shift in the energy. Suddenly, she's the one deciding where things go, making the plans, controlling the pace, and guiding the emotional tone of the relationship. And while it might seem harmless at first, this is exactly how a man quietly loses his power. See, masculine energy leads not through control, but through direction. It's the kind of leadership that's calm, grounded, and consistent. When a man leads, a woman naturally relaxes into her femininity. She feels safe to be soft, emotional, and expressive because she knows the man beside her is steady. But when he stops leading, when he starts deferring to her for every decision or following her emotional lead, she starts to feel uneasy. She won't say it directly, but inside, she starts to feel like she can't fully trust his strength. Most men don't lose leadership because they're weak. They lose it because they think being agreeable will keep the peace. They believe that saying whatever makes you happy is kindness. But to a woman, it feels like uncertainty. It feels like she has to step into the masculine role to create direction. And the moment she does, polarity breaks. You both switch energies. She becomes the one guiding, and you become the one reacting. And once that happens, attraction doesn't stand a chance. She might still care about you, but she won't desire you. Desire lives in polarity, when the masculine leads and the feminine flows. That doesn't mean dominance or control. It means taking initiative. It means being decisive. It means being emotionally stable when she's not. It means knowing where you're going and inviting her to come with you. Women test leadership all the time, often without even realizing it. She'll say, "I don't care, you decide." And when you shrug and say, "I don't care either," she'll feel that flicker of disappointment. It's not about the decision itself. It's about the energy behind it. She wants to feel your certainty. Even a simple, confident choice like, "Let's do this," makes her feel safe and drawn to you. When a man follows her lead, he slowly fades into the background of her emotional world. When he leads, he becomes the anchor she naturally orbits around, and that's the difference between a man she respects and a man she tolerates. 7. When you forget who you were. Before you met her, this is where most men lose themselves completely, and they don't even see it happening. At some point in the relationship, they forget who they were before she came along. They stop being himself. The man with goals, friends, hobbies, routines, and energy that existed before her presence. The man who attracted her in the first place. Instead, they slowly become the man who only exists because of her. It's a quiet kind of erosion. At first, you just want to make time for her. You cancel a few plans, skip a few workouts, spend more nights at her place. You tell yourself it's love, and maybe it is. But little by little, you start giving up the things that built your confidence, your independence, your masculine energy. And without realizing it, you start depending on her to feel that same sense of fulfillment. Here's the thing. Women fall in love with the version of you who doesn't need them. The man who's focused, consistent, and in motion. That's what feels magnetic. The sense that your world was already full, and she just became part of it. But when you start changing who you are to fit her world, the energy that made you attractive starts disappearing. You become predictable, emotionally dependent, and worst of all, uninspiring. You might think she'll love you more for it, But she won't. She'll start to feel something shift in her gut, that quiet dissatisfaction she can't explain. It's not that she stopped caring, it's that she can no longer feel the masculine energy that drew her in. The polarity is gone. And once that spark dies, no amount of effort, affection, or reassurance can bring it back. Not until you reconnect with yourself. Men lose power when they abandon their individuality, when they stop chasing their own goals, when they let her world replace their own. And the irony is, the more you lose yourself, the more she loses interest. Not because she's ungrateful, but because you stopped being the man she could admire. Women want connection, yes, but we also want to look up to you. We want to see that you still have a life, a purpose, a center that doesn't crumble without us. That's what makes a woman feel safe, attracted, and deeply feminine around you. So, if you feel like you're losing power in your relationship, ask yourself this. Would I still recognize myself if she left? If the answer is no, that's your signal. Reclaim your focus. Rebuild your routines. Reconnect with the man she met. Because that's the man she fell for. Never forget who you were before her, because that's the version of you she respected most. Power returns when you stop giving it away. At the end of the day, most men don't lose power because women take it. They lose it because they hand it over, piece by piece, through over-explaining, over-giving, and over-chasing. Power slips away the moment you forget who you were before she came into the picture. When you make a woman your world, you stop being the man she was drawn to, the one who had purpose, focus, and direction outside of her. But when you pull your energy back, when you move with intention and calm confidence, she feels that shift. That's when everything changes. You don't need to fight for respect. You don't need to demand loyalty. You just need to lead yourself again. Because a man who leads himself, through his silence, his discipline, and his standards, never truly loses power. He simply reclaims it. And that's what every woman quietly craves. A man who doesn't need her to be powerful. He already is.